Do. So here we are, or here I am at another episode of Don't Tell Me to Shut Up. And I haven't done an intro in a long time. I just assume that when you see my face, if you've seen one of these, you've seen 1,000. And so you should know who I am. But I'm Jasmine. And this is my podcast called Don't Tell Me to Shut Up. And sitting in with me today is the same person who's been sitting in with me for a long time, is Lena. And that's because, I don't know, nobody comes over here. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. You just love me.
Fix your microphone. I can't.
What?
She's been doing this 1,000 times. She don't know. I tell her all the time. No, whenever I tell you to fix something, your first reaction is to pick it all up and blow it up. I'm saying sometimes it's just a simple, okay, well, where is it? Let's assess it first. You know what it reminds me of? How you get your steak at a restaurant, and before you even taste it, you put all kind of shit on it. Let's taste the steak first.
I do.
This is an example.
Oh, okay.
That's an example for you. Meaning, sometimes when I say something, let's not just start fucking shit up. Let's look and see where it's messed up and then adjust. You don't. Like, what's wrong with that? Did I get it? Well, I don't know. Did we see what was wrong with it first? No, exactly. Look, Blue agrees. I said, just fix the microphones. I wanted you to look down and see where it was wrong. And then you could see that your chin was not on the microphone. He was like, fuck it, it must be down here. What would you do that? That's the thing with you. We should have a continuation of the last podcast of, things that make you go, in terms of our relationship. You be doing some crazy stuff. Why? Where does that come from?
I don't know. It's just me, I guess.
I mean, I have my idiosyncrasies too, for sure, without question. Like, my first thing is to attack instead of to try to be in their brain and figure out why would you think that way. I can't. It's tough for me. I don't understand some things. But anyway, welcome to the show.
What up?
A lot of things on my brain today. Not necessarily in an opinionated way as much as it is I'm trying to unpack things. The first thing on my mind is why the hell my dog is barking. Every day she barks at absolutely nothing. Now, I've said to you, it could be that they sense things that we don't sense. So it could be something a mile away. I don't know. Or it could be
it's an
just
everyday thing, though.
Yeah. I think everything bothers her. She's like me. Everything bothers her. Everything. It's like, meanwhile, Blue is chilling.
Yeah, but then she howls at the end. Ooh.
Yeah. That's how I know it's no real threat. Nobody sings at a threat. It doesn't even make sense. Anyway, speaking of threats, this whole Jonathan Major situation. I don't know. And, I'm a huge supporter of let's wait until the facts come out before we cast aspersions and, say someone is guilty. I am a firm believer of that. So I am not saying that he did or did not strangle this woman. I don't know. What I do know is that there was some sort of altercation, situation, if you will, allegedly, in which his girlfriend went to the hospital. It is in question as to who called 911, but somebody called. We don't know who. She did allegedly have marks around her neck and some bruises on her face. Since this report has come out, there have been some directors who've also come out and spoken out to say that he was not the easiest to work with. Now, that is a roundabout what they said. Right. It is not verbatim. They said something to the point of him being vile or vicious or something. I don't know, so I don't want to be quoted as saying that. But whatever it was negative. And then you had some people who came out that apparently went to school with him. And not grade school, but college and perhaps beyond, who said that he was not a likable guy. Now, I am torn by all of this. My first reason is because I forgot to add one thing. Since this has come out, the Army has pulled at least 2 spots that featured him.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else has been silent, which in many ways I'm happy about, because I think we should always wait until the facts come out before we start, saying that someone is guilty and causing them to lose some of their livelihood. I guess my biggest concern is it true? Well, because I feel like people work so hard to get where they are in their station for the most part. Well, in this industry.
Right.
And I can't say this because I'm not an actor. Okay. So in that world, they work so hard to get to that level. And being a Black man, I think the odds are already stacked against you. So I would hate to see that he has been wrongfully accused and punished absent facts, and it turned out to not be true.
Right.
On the flip side, I would hate that everyone ran to his defense and it turns out that the young lady was telling the truth.
Right.
So I'm always stuck in the middle on this, because my thing is, I do not subscribe to the notion that you should believe someone right away because they said so.
Right.
Male or female. Sorry, me too. That's where I am. I think that you should proceed with caution, but I think everyone should be considered innocent until proven guilty. I also am of the belief that you should be allowed to face your accusers.
Right.
I know that that is a right depending on what the crime is, but to me, I think if you accuse me of something, I have the right to see who accused me, unless there is imminent danger, I don't know. I feel like if you accuse me of something, I want to know who said it. Right. I want to be able to defend myself to the fullest. I also think that the whole Me Too movement has made it very difficult to draw that line of demarcation between what is and what isn't a fact. I look back at some of the cases in which allegations were lodged against someone. They lost just about everything, and it turns out they were lying.
Yeah.
So, but then the other end of that is true. I've seen situations where women have spoken out about their fear, about imminent danger that they felt they were in. And it turned out that it was true. And unfortunately, in some of those cases, the women were killed.
Right.
So it's a difficult and a delicate dance. That's why I hate that we learn so much about things on social media. Not everyone wants to get the facts. They just want to be the first one to report it.
Right.
So that, I don't know, some kind of cred. I don't know, but I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true, number one, believe it or not necessarily for his sake, but for the sake of the woman, regardless of her race. Because a lot of people were like, she a white woman, she deserves it. I don't think any female or anybody deserves to be beat up or strangled. Certainly not that. Or any kind of abuse. I don't care who you are, what race you are, what your background is. I do not believe that. So I hope that it's not true, first of all, for her, because no one deserves to be assaulted.
Right.
Then I hope it's not true for him, because I feel like he was on his way.
Man, he was getting amazing roles. And I agree with you. I am happy that a lot of people haven't jumped on the bandwagon of pulling out until they actually find out what
we don't know why they haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet. We hope it's because they want to make sure that the facts come out, but nobody's really said anything.
Right. And then the Army, that's a little hypocritical to me, but hey, who am I?
Why is it hypocritical?
Because they have so many like rape cases and sexual assault cases. I actually just read about one, a week ago. So it's kind of like, okay, well, it's funny how you just pull a man's ad down that hasn't even been convicted or anything yet. but yeah, you have all these issues within your organization
I agree with
that
that.
you haven't addressed.
I agree with that. I do. I think it is a little hypocritical.
Yeah.
I think they would say, but we did address it. You just don't know about it. That's what they say. They say we've done investigations and we found nothing.
Nothing, of course.
You know, but obviously, if no one has been able or allowed to see those things, then we don't know who's telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know if you actually tried the case. Did you really look at all the facts? We don't really know. We can guess and say, no, you didn't. You just took the side of the dude
Right.
or whatever. I don't know. I don't know enough about those situations. I've read stories. I've seen some things, but again, you get them in bits and pieces as opposed to the entire story. So I don't know. Just like in this case with Jonathan Majors, we're getting bits and pieces, but we don't know the full story.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate. Now, a lot of people, are saying that, it is always when a Black man begins to ascend that people come out of the woodwork. But one of the directors who was saying that he's an asshole, basically, tweeted this back in February. It's March. And said, a particular actor, he did not name names, that is, on the ascension, is really a jerk. Basically, that's me paraphrasing. He said he's really a jerk. He's not a nice guy. Da 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 da. Right. He recently, allegedly, came out and said that's exactly who I was speaking about.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of sad, It's funny because I feel like if you are at the verge of like breaking through in whatever it is that you're trying to do in life, I feel like it's like kind of you walking pins and needles to be able to get to that point, because if you work so hard, like I don't think anything is easy, especially if you want to rise straight to the top, and then all of a sudden you do like I'll be so upset at myself if I'm like here, like almost like I've worked so hard for this, and then I'm here, and then all of a sudden do something extremely stupid.
Yeah, but think about this though: if you are an abuser, you don't think that what you're doing is stupid. You don't have, from what I understand, you think that what you're doing, you have a right to do. Or it's like telling an alcoholic that they're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
They would say, no, I'm not. I have control over this. And so perhaps, there are people, both male and female, who assault their significant other, and they think they have a right to do that. They wouldn't see anything wrong with it. So if he is an abuser in that way, he may not think anything is wrong with it. And if he's been doing it for a long time, and we don't know that to be true, and nobody's ever said anything to him, including the girls, it's my first time ever hearing of a case like this against him, then why would you think anything is wrong?
Right. But that's another thing too that I do question. Like, obviously, if I don't know how long they were together. You said that she was his girlfriend.
Well, that's what they said. That's what the reports are.
Okay. So
I'm
then
not
I
her,
wonder if
but
he's done it before. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. All of that is remains to be seen unless some of his exes come forward to say, I got lumps and bumps too.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think that I don't know, it's difficult because you don't want to defend somebody that has this type of issues, and you kind of like, but there's so many people that have risen though, you know what I'm saying? It's like not everybody's taken down. So it's kind of like, okay, I don't think everybody that makes it, they try to bring them down. I do think that we do tend to defend our own just because we want to protect them, but sometimes people just do shit. Just do shit.
Yeah.
That
is definitely true. I mean, I think it depends though. I think we, as Chris Rock so eloquently said, although I do not agree with everything that Chris Rock has said, I think we have selective rage or selective outrage. I think depending on who it is and how we feel about them will determine whether or not we forgive their behavior.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you like R. Kelly, you rode with him for a long time until the girls came forward and did their documentary. And then all of a sudden you realize, I'm on an island by myself. Perhaps I should not be okay with the fact that he allegedly, well, now that he's in jail, allegedly, did this to these young women.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, the same thing. You have a lot of people who like Michael Jackson. They're like, don't you say nothing about Michael Jackson because they like him. Right. And I think sometimes the way you feel about somebody emotionally can cloud your judgment about some of the things that they do. I mean, great example is mothers are that way. You can know that your child is doing some shitty stuff, but because it's your child, you will justify what they did or say, oh, you don't understand. He just blah, blah, blah. So I think it really depends on how you feel about the person as to whether or not you will give them a pass.
Yeah. Well, I think both are true. You could be a great actor and an abuser. Like, it's.
Well, no, I'm not talking about what you can and what you can't be.
Yeah.
I'm talking about whether or not people will continue to build you up or tear you down.
Right.
I think that's all based on how you feel about the person. Because there are a ton of people who still support Michael Jackson. There are a ton of people who still support R. Kelly. So I think it's based on how you feel about them.
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like some people that support them is all in, like, nah, he didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Or nah, even with the Bill Cosby thing, like, nah, he couldn't do it.
But I'm saying it has nothing to do with facts as much as it has to do with how they feel about that person. People feel that Bill Cosby was the greatest TV dad that ever lived.
Yeah.
The problem is you have a difficult time separating reality versus what was done on a set.
Right.
And so you believe that Cliff Huxtable couldn't have been Bill Cosby, when in reality, they're the same person. It's just one is, actually, they're both pretending. One is pretending to be a great TV dad. The other is pretending to be an upstanding citizen.
Yeah.
While he was drugging chicks.
I listen, I think, like I said, I could support you, but still know that you did some messed up shit.
Now, see, I don't know that I could do that. I think if you've done some terrible things to me, like not done terrible things to me, we already know that goes without saying. I'm not supporting you if you've done some shit to me. I'm saying if you've done some terrible things that I feel like I could not sleep at night if I put money in your pocket. For instance, for me, the whole Bill Cosby thing, I would never take away what he did. But I couldn't go to his show knowing that he drugged and raped some chicks. Yeah. I could not put money in his pocket because in doing so, what I am saying is I'm okay with women being drugged and raped. So I could not rock with you. I would have to disagree with you on that. I couldn't do that. The difference is, in my opinion, I know the justice system is not totally just, but if we all agree that in this country, you are innocent until proven guilty, wink, wink. You go before the judicial system. If they find you innocent, you are supposed to have a new lease on life. Right. If they find you guilty, then we all agree, wink, wink, that you're guilty, right? So if Michael Jackson went before a jury and they found him innocent, in my mind, it is unfair to still hold him accountable if we said he's innocent and he didn't go to jail. Right. On the flip side of that, you have the O.J. Simpson case. He was found innocent. Right. But we all kind of feel like he did it. But we are OK with him being free because he's a black man. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we don't believe that he did it as much as we're just glad he beat the system.
Right. I mean, yeah,
that's the difference. I don't think anybody believes that O.J. Simpson is innocent. And I don't think anybody felt he should have went to jail, but it was not necessarily because they really believed he didn't do it. I think they were happy that two black men, Johnny Cochran and O.J. Simpson, beat the system that normally beats us. So to me, that ain't even about justice. That's just about how we felt we got one. We finally got one.
Of course. But I think there's a lot of people that treat it the same way. Like, because even with the Bill Cosby thing, it's like, oh, well, what about Harvey Weinstein? If both are wrong, both are wrong. I mean, and I think that people didn't really care to investigate the whole Harvey Weinstein.
But see, you're missing my point. Before the Harvey Weinstein case, you didn't know who he was. He was not a household name. Bill Cosby was. So that goes back to my original point. It depends on how you feel about the person. We knew his movies, but we didn't necessarily know him unless you were, into acting and movie making and things like that. You really didn't know that he was behind some of your favorite movie. Name a movie that he did.
No, what I'm totally with you.
Right, but the difference that I'm trying to make in the conversation is, I think everything in terms of how we treat people is based on our connection to them. Our connection to Bill Cosby was, he was our hero. He was our dad. So because of that, because of how we felt about him, we were willing to create scenarios to justify what he did and still want to rock with him and say, you can't do that to Bill Cosby. Y'all trying to take down a black man. Mm-hmm. But Bill Cosby, by his own account, said, well, I gave him drugs because, that's what we used to do back in the day. We didn't know you was going to let them get knocked out and then rape them. Like, that ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he was like, yeah. And he said this in his deposition. So it's not like we're making this up. So I think because we love Cliff Huxtable,
right,
where some people are unable to separate Cliff Huxtable and Bill Cosby.
No, I understand that.
So, but I agree with you in saying that the two can be mutually exclusive in that you could be a very talented person and still do some shitty stuff. Yeah. That much is 100% true.
Just any human being could be, nice and then all of a sudden do some stupid shit.
Yeah, but that was my point. Yeah. You could definitely be the guy who lives next door and you're so good to your kid and your wife and you take your kid to Boy Scouts, all of those things, and still, rape chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can be true. That's what I'm saying. They're not mutually exclusive. You could be a good person and do bad things.
Yeah. No, listen.
All of it to say, I'm hoping, for the sake of the female and for the sake of a rising star who happens to be a black man, that he didn't do it.
Well, I'm saying for his sake, because if he didn't do it, then she lied.
Well, no, but I'm saying for both sides, for her, I hope that he didn't do it. Because I hate that to think of a woman being abused is the perspective that I'm saying, that I hope that did not happen. Yeah. And if it didn't happen and she lied, she should suffer the consequences. But I'm saying from the perspective that I hate to hear of any female having been abused in any way. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I hope that did not happen for her sake, because I can't imagine what it would feel like, or can I, to have someone strangle you and you really think that you're about to die. I would not want that for any human being.
That's crazy.
That's what I mean. In terms of, I hope it didn't happen and she lied. This microphone keeps going down. If she lied about that, she should, something bad, not bad, but she should be punished.
Yeah, she should.
I believe
he's probably gonna sue her.
Well, if it's not true, because if it is true, he won't be able to sue her because he might be in jail. So,
oh, Jonathan, come on, dude.
I hope not. I mean, because.
And if it's not true and you just got a little anger, if it's not true and you just got a little angry, just go to anger management class.
Nah, it's too late for that. Because if you got a little angry and she got marks on her neck.
No, I'm saying, like, if she exaggerated and he just got a little angry and just did like a little shove. Like,
well, I don't know what kind of exexaggeration you know about, but if you know of something that leave marks on your neck, some strong ass exaggeration. Unless she choked herself.
I don't know him personally. He may be a dick, but I just hope that it's not true. And I just hope he's just a dick, not a dick who strangles people.
A dick that strangles might be nice.
I actually read a story about a man who was strangling his partner and killed her.
I saw that.
Yeah.
But here's what I have to say about that. You got to have a safe word, because a lot of people use strangulation in order to go to the next. It's like drinking and getting a little tipsy and then smoking a little bit. it takes your, and I'm talking about cigarettes but it takes your high a little bit more. And so there is something about asphyxiation and sex as you are about to hit the high note that you say it like,
Perhaps.
Well, then I'm saying, so then you shouldn't be so shocked by this story. I just think that sometimes, you could be so in the moment that you don't realize that, I mean, I've almost bitten a chunk out of somebody before. So I get it. You got to know your safety words. What's the safe word?
Pineapples.
No, don't let it be pineapples because, yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I mean, the other elephant in the room is this whole Xscape and SWV situation.
Oh, man.
Now the ante has been upped quite a bit because apparently Tamika Scott has receipts that she is showing where allegedly her sister received the money and kept it. Allegedly. Apparently, Tamika, let me say Tiny. Tiny's mom was featured in the video. Did you see this?
No, I saw a headline for a story, but I didn't read it.
Well, let me drop the details for you.
Yeah, drop it. Drop it.
So, Tamika went to Tiny's mother. They recorded a video together explaining why or how it would even be possible for Tamika's sister to get her checks. Now, apparently, years ago, Tiny's mom signed them up to some, I'm going to say, I think it was called Sound Exchange, which I'm assuming was probably a lot like Sound, like
the Sound Factory,
Spotify or something. I don't know. I don't even want to stretch and say because I'm unfamiliar. What I do know is somehow they got checks from this particular deal. And allegedly, Latasha either filled out the paperwork for her sister or had all of the checks for both herself and her sister come to her house in New York. So as everyone was receiving their checks, Tiny's mom said, Tiny got a lot of checks and they were big ones, like $20,000 here, a couple of $1,000s there. They were big checks. And Tamika was like, excuse me, how come I haven't been getting any checks? Turns out she was getting checks, but allegedly they were going to Latasha's spot in New York where Tamika did not live. Allegedly. I'm trying to be careful with my words. And so I don't know if Latasha thought the money was all hers and cashed the checks mistakenly. I don't know. What I do know is Tamika showed paperwork that said, this ain't my signature on the checks. Well, as if it could get any worse than that. Tamika also says, Tamika doing a lot of talking, girl. You're doing a lot of talking. And I'm going to need Latasha to step her game up and have a rebuttal and let us know what's going on. And I don't like the gossip, so you didn't hear it from me. Or do I? So allegedly, Tamika said, no. Tamika did say that allegedly Tasha's, I'm assuming boyfriend at the time or husband. I don't know who this dude is. I mean, be careful because I don't know if it's her current husband or whatever. But apparently they sent threatening text messages to Tamika to say, if you this and then we gonna do that. And I'm gonna tell everybody you sent me these nude pictures of you and then apparently said something about Candy and said something about Tiny and then said something about Taj and a transgender and all of this to threaten Tamika to be quiet. It's a lot. So you can suss through that. I'm not saying anything bad about Candy. I'm not saying anything bad about Tiny. I'm not saying anything about Taj and a transgender because I don't know nothing about it. I'm just repeating what Tamika said and a voicemail that I heard from a dude who was saying these things. So the thing that Tamika is accusing this man, I don't know who he was, of, there is a voicemail of him either doing an interview or saying things about Candy, Taj, and Tiny.
How did Taj get into the Xscape gossip?
That's what I want to know. But what I do know is you don't want to mess with Taj, honey.
But
It's a lot.
I mean, it is a lot. I mean, listen. First of all, I'm proud of you. Welcome to the reality TV world.
I got to step out. My heart is racing right now. And listen, I've said this time and time and time again. I am probably the only person on the planet, and I know that's not true. I am exaggerating, who does not and has not watched reality shows. The last reality TV show that I ever watched, I watched a half, not even half, maybe 10 minutes of a Maury show with you. Do you remember that? He is not the father. Yeah. I'd never seen it before. I'd never, ever watched. The only thing I had seen, because of what I do in research, I had seen clips of things like Geraldo getting hit in the nose with a chair. But I don't like to watch things like that because I believe you are what you consume. Right. So I think too much of it. I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's good in doses. I just think if you watch it all the time, I think you are what you eat. You are what you consume. But prior to that, the last time I ever watched a reality show was MTV's Real World. Damn, like in the very, very beginning when Tammy Roman was on it. Oh. In the very, very beginning. That was like 1993 or some shit.
That was in the third grade.
I just didn't watch that kind of stuff. It's just not my thing. And so I was curious because of the verses between Xscape and SWV. And then obviously wanting to support my girl Taj. Because I know the more viewers they have, the ratings are great. They get good money. And, so I want to support. Whoo!
But I think like, at the end of the day, I think both of them are to blame. Because I feel like if we're in a group and I'm not getting any money, I'm not going to wait 20 years to...
No. I think you've been misinformed. This has been an ongoing thing with them and not from the group money that they got from the label and from tours. Mm-hmm. This was another revenue stream that was coming in that she wasn't seeing checks to the tune of $30,000. And so when she found out about it, remember that was on one of the shows, that was one of the things that came up. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming she had broached this subject before and I'm sorry, I might add, I missed a step. On this particular video, you're gonna have to catch up. I can't believe you come on now. If I know more than you and this is your bread and butter, you love this kind of stuff, not your girl.
This,
also in the video where Tiny's mom is speaking, she said that now this is out of Tiny's mama's mouth. Mm-hmm. This is not Tamika speaking. Tiny's mama said, the only way you can get your money back, and she said, I told you this back then, they are revisiting the conversation that happened years ago. Okay. So she wanted to get her money. She wanted to approach them. And Tiny's mom told her, the only way you can get your money is that if you press charges against your sister. And she didn't want to do that. She didn't want her sister to go to jail.
Well, I guess instead of having a solo deal, she's going to be solo and solitary because I'm getting my money.
But that won't put you in solitary. Well, now, Latasha, that's her name? Latasha or Zatasha? Latasha. Yeah. She says, I'll give her money. No. I didn't take her money. If you want $30,000, I'll give you 30. Listen, in my mind, if you got it like that, unless you just kind of, sticking your chest out and lying. If you got it like that and that's your sister and she feels a certain way, give her the money. Squash all this, give her the money and be done with it.
I think they did a lot of fighting back for somebody who's not guilty. Her and the mama. When she mentioned it, they were really defensive against their situation. But I don't know. I mean, it's pretty sad. It's sad that, especially your family member, because I understand if it's a group and nobody knows each other, but if it's your sister, like,
where are you going? Why do you keep falling? So unreliable.
That's for making fun of my mic situation.
But I knew how to handle my microphone.
Ooh, did you?
Ain't a Scorpio for nothing.
But I think it's pretty sad. It's a sad situation, and it's sad to see them fighting. I mean, I don't know Latasha from A Hole in the Wall. However, the energy that comes through the TV when it comes to her is not right.
It's not right.
Her and his
I hope that they are cutting it this way. I'm hoping that they're editing it this way. The only thing for me that makes that difficult to believe. And Latasha, I don't know you from a hole in the wall either. Okay. So bear with me on this. Her history of being difficult via the industry, not me, because I ain't never dealt with you, but from the industry, they say she's not a nice person. She's very difficult to deal with from what I've heard. And those sources are second and third. So I don't know how reliable they are. I put that disclaimer out there because, I believe in that. I'm just telling you the things that I've heard, which I don't really like to do, but it's a podcast. And I think from what I understand, the whole reason behind their initial break was her.
Right.
Now I'm deep in the game enough to remember when they broke up and she went solo, and conversations I had with record reps working that record. So I'll say that I'm at least on the inside enough to say that. So again, I hope it's how they're cutting it. I agree with you that I think in the end it's really sad because you have a talented group of Black women who have an opportunity to make money. And this could all be a part of the storyline. So it keeps people talking about it. It keeps people watching it, keeps people invested, because that's what TV is about, keeping you talking and sitting on the edge of your seat waiting. So this could be part of the storyline, and it's a damn good one if it ain't true.
It is.
Why is DL calling me? I'm trying to do a podcast. Let me see if I'm answering phone, see what y'all say. Hey, I'm doing a podcast. Let me call you back. A bird to you too. Bye.
Yeah, it's pretty sad though.
Well, I will say this. This is my own opinion. I don't like the mama right now.
Oh, no.
I feel like as a mother, you're not supposed to choose sides like that.
I know what it is, though.
And I think ultimately, even if you believe or if you know that someone is lying, as the mama, your job is to keep the peace. You're supposed to be like, get your ass in here. Let's have this conversation behind these cameras. Out here putting our business out like this, making us look like some crazy Black women. That's what I want to see. I want to see the mama yoke both of them up, take them in the back and be like, excuse me, Mr. Cameraman, we'll be right back.
Well, this is my assumption of the whole situation. Being that Tasha has stolen the checks, Tasha's the one supporting her, so she's going to be on Tasha's side.
Well, I'm not going to put that out there because I don't know what her mama do. And I'm big on that. I don't like to tear no Black woman down.
That's why I said assumption.
She might have a job making more money than me. I don't know. I don't know what the mama does. So I don't want to go that far. I will say that as a mother, period, no matter what your station in life, no matter how much money you make, you're supposed to be, unbiased when it comes to your children and take them in the back and get them straight, as opposed to choosing sides on TV. But again, it could be a storyline. Maybe the mom loves both of them equally. But the fact that Tamika, whether it be for a storyline or not, she says, I feel like I'm not treated fairly. I feel like you love her more.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
reality TV.
Let's see what happens.
I'm gonna watch it Sunday.
See, she's hooked.
I'm gonna watch it Sunday. And now, how does it work? Is it like your favorite series on Netflix where they take you through and then leave you hanging and you got to wait like 7 months before they come back?
No, they usually have it's always a resolution in the end.
Oh, so there will be a resolution to this.
I mean, I hope so in this one, but most of the reality shows, I mean, it's funny because they all kind of built the same way. I only watch like 3 reality shows though. I can tell you, I watch Basketball Wives. I watch Love and Hip Hop. And sometimes I watch something on Peacock, like about dating and stuff. But I don't watch like Housewives or anything. I never have. I don't even know who, besides like Nene, because she's so always on the blogs. I don't know who they are. But in Love and Hip Hop and Basketball Wives, they always have a trip that always goes wrong. And then in the end, you always have like, usually in Basketball Wives, it was Shawnee who kind of try to bring the peace. And if she felt that you were extremely out of control, she's fired some people.
Oh, fired from the show.
Yeah.
How do you get fired from the show? Because I feel like the whole purpose of the show, of reality shows, is to be the most outrageous character that you can be. So how can you be fired if you're being what they need you to be for ratings? Unless you do something crazy like really hit somebody or really, steal. I have no idea.
Well, the last person that she kind of fired.
I think they fire you when you don't have a good storyline. That's what I think.
No, but she disrespected her.
First of all,
she's no longer in front of cameras.
First of all, the whole purpose of reality TV is to be disrespectful. So in my mind, I'm like, you can't get mad because you got disrespected when that's what puts asses in seats, is to watch people be disrespectful to each other. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Wasn't really she was very like the mediator. Like she wasn't really like a.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
The troublemaker.
No. But you missed you just said Shawnee fired somebody for being disrespectful to her.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, from what I can tell, one of the reasons why I don't watch reality TV shows is because outside of SWV and Xscape, is the whole purpose is to be disrespectful to each other. Every single clip I've ever seen on social media involved someone being disrespectful. So I'm trying to figure out how do you fire somebody and use as your basis because you were disrespectful. Well, why do you think people are watching? They're watching us disrespect each other.
If you go above the, I don't know what the disrespect line is, but I guess she went above. But she let her back on in. But now Shawnee's is not in front of the cameras.
So then it sounds like that also was for a storyline. Because you can't say I'm going to fire you because you disrespected me, but you can disrespect all these other chicks, but you can't disrespect me.
Well, it was
that's the whole point
of disrespect towards other people, and I think.
But in the whole thing, a series of disrespect every time it comes on. When you look at again the trailers for them. I see trailers because I watch Lifetime or like a movie, or I like, documentaries and things like that. Anytime I've ever seen a promo trailer for any reality show or any snippet on any social media platform, there is always disrespect.
Yeah,
always.
It is very because from what I understand, a lot of the issues are true, and they just kind of put you in the same room to kind of. For you to gossip about him.
You know what I think? So I think social, I think that reality shows basically are my parents and my grandparents' version of soap operas.
Yeah.
That's all they are. Yeah. Because if you think about it, and not just soap operas, but those nighttime soaps.
Yeah.
Like Dynasty and things like that. Everybody loved to see Dominique, what was her name? Devereaux slap somebody. Her and the other lady would have this whole back and forth. And so obviously it was for TV, so it was different. So it wasn't a whole lot of punching and cheeks hanging out.
Right.
Gotta get out here and tell this dude this situation. Anyway, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Watch it, don't watch it. SWV Xscape. And first of all, not even SWV. It's Xscape. Get your shit together. Get out here and make this money. Y'all play too much. Now, that's enough of that. I'm going to watch a reality show.